Hello and welcome to the Daily Mill for Tuesday the 23rd of July 2024. In today's Millwall news, we start off with the most important news of the day, and that's from millfc.co.uk, and they have confirmed the tribute plans for Matija Sarkics, and this is published on what would have been his 27th birthday. Millwall Football Club will pay tribute to Matija Sarkics at the 24-25 Sky Bet Championship opener at the Den against Watford on Saturday the 10th of August to kick off 12:30 p.m. The Lions' former goalkeeper passed away suddenly on Saturday the 15th of June, aged 26, leaving the club and the entire football community devastated. The club has been in continuous dialogue with the Sarkics family since his passing, and alongside first team and senior management at Den, considered numerous tribute ideas to remember Matija by. Ahead of the first league game of the season against the Hornets, the club can confirm it will be retiring the number 20 shirt in memory of our dear friend and colleague Matty. Plans are also underway to produce a mural painting of Matija, which will feature in the Coldblow Lane concourse. The club will also introduce the opportunity for fans to vote for their 24-25 save of the season, with the winner presented with the Matija Sarkics Award. On match day, that's against Watford, the club is honoured to be joined at the Den by Matija's parents Bohan and Natalie, brothers Oliver and Danilo, and partner Phoebe. From 12:15 p.m, the Sarkics family will be pitchside for the duration of the commemorations, which will start with a tribute video in memory of Matija that will play on the big screen. At its conclusion, the players and officials wearing black armbands will emerge from the tunnel, with both captains carrying wreaths. A minute's applause will then take place as both sides gather at the centre circle before the skippers lay their respective wreaths behind each goal. The match will then kick off. Please take your seats early to ensure that you do not miss any of the planned tributes. Further matchday information and ticket selling arrangements ahead of the game will be released in due course. So there you go. Yeah, that's good stuff. I agree with all of that, and it's terribly sad. A player that was coming into his own, was very good at what he's done. He's worked very hard for many years to get to the level that he's at, and it was just taken away from him, just like that. And but I believe, I'm not too sure, I believe obviously he's the only Millwall player to die while being a Millwall player. I'm not sure in terms of how that works with the world wars and whatnot, but in terms of in the modern era, certainly post World War II, I believe the only Millwall player to die while being a Millwall player. Dean Orricks, obviously, we remember him, and he did pass away with it. I think he was sold 3 weeks earlier before that happened. But yeah, tragic stuff, and there will now never be another Millwall number 20. It's forever going to be Matija Sarkics, number 20. So there you go. Now moving on to less important stuff. The match today: Nottingham Forrest 2, Millwall 1. Although that says, obviously, the Southern News here, rushing it out, southernnews.co.uk. Nottingham 2, Forest Millwall 1. No, I wish. Yeah. Did you watch the game? Did you pay the $5.99? If you didn't, I imagine there will be highlights available on maybe on Millwall TV Plus. I'm not too sure, but what can we say? Well, let's read the match report first, and then I'll give my comments afterwards. So this is from John Kelly, who was at the Pinatar Arena. So he gets to go, but Cairo has to stay back and report in London. Millwall were beaten 2-1 by Nottingham Forest in their first pre-season friendly in Spain on Tuesday evening. Forest went in front 17 minutes in when former Lion striker Chris Wood's shot deflected off Joe Bryan. Millwall didn't test Forest keeper Matt Turner in the first half as Nuno Espirito Santo's side mostly controlled possession. Lions goalkeeper Lucas Jensen made his first save just before the break when he stretched out his right leg to block right back Eric Moreira's low shot. Forrest made 10 changes at half time, but it was a first half substitute, Callum Hudson-Odoi. I wonder, yeah, there was a first half substitute, and we'll get into that later if they don't mention it here. Callum Hudson-Odoi, who doubled their lead in the 53rd minute. Ryan Yates found Hudson-Odoi in space on the edge of the box, and he beat Jensen with a low finish into the bottom right corner. Mill pulled a goal back in the 76th minute when substitute Adomu Maku finished under goalkeeper Matt Sells' 4 minutes after coming on, and Murray Wallace almost levelled late but was denied by Sells' fingertip save. The temperatures were touching 40 degrees on Sunday when Mill arrived at their base in Alicante, but there wasn't much time to get used to the bush surroundings in the hotel. Soon after the squad were off the coach, they were on their bikes, literally. A gym workout followed before a session in the grass. Okay. Amid their heavy panting after that intense first day, the players may have just had enough breath in them for a sigh of relief when kick-off on Tuesday was pushed back to cooler 8 p.m. local time. As it happens, it was a much more tolerable 28 degrees at the Pinatar Arena with a nice breeze blowing across the pitch. For the second game in front of supporters this pre-season, Neil Harris made 4 changes to his side from the one that started in the 0-0 draw at Gillingham. Summer signing Japhet Tanganga replaced Kamal Grant as the former Tottenham defender was reunited with last year's centre-back partner Jake Cooper. Casper Denor came into midfield in place of George Honeyman. Zion Fleming and Tom Bradshaw started up front for Kevin Nisbet and Tom Lee. Forrest started to exert their dominance after an even first 10 minutes. That was mainly down to their 2 central midfielders, Danilo and Ibrahim Sangare. And that's what you would expect from a midfield duo that cost a combined 50 million. The Lions tried to get close to them, but a blink of the flick around the corner turned pressure into space for Forrest to attack into. Millwall were a goal down despite Lucas Jensen not having a save to make. Tanganga looked like he was going to have a chance to test Matt Turner, only for a foul to be given against Cooper from the Savills free kick from the left. Forrest continued to control possession after the water break midway through the first half. The only worry for Espirito Santo in the first half was a knee injury to £35 million summer signing Elliot Anderson. Hudson-Odoi replaced Anderson on the left side of Forest's 3-man attack. Hudson-Odoi had the last shot of the half, but he got closer to hitting Bartosz Białkowski, who was watching from the fancy seats, than to the Lions' goal. Hudson-Odoi made no mistake from his next opportunity, as Millwall were too easily opened up. Mill finally threatened on 63 minutes. They had a little joy from wide areas until Romanesi found Duncan Watmore's run from the left. SA's pass was perfectly weighted and Watmore was in, and he looted his shot over Matt Sells' but onto the top of the crossbar. The 900 or so Lions supporters got their first chance to see summer by Macaulay Langstaff when he came on from Bradshaw in the 72nd minute, but they were more familiar with the finish from Amaku, who clinically slid home from Brian's pass. Mill had one more chance, but Sells denied Wallace during a stunning equaliser when he just managed to tip over the defender's 20-yard shot in injury time. And the team was as follows. Jensen McNamara playing on the right, Tanganga, Cooper, Bryan, Esse, Saville, Denor, Watmore, Fleming, and Bradshaw. And the changes were, at half time we had Wallace coming on for Tanganga. Yes, Wallace played on the right of a centre-back pair. I don't know what that was about. Honeyman came on for Fleming. Again, Fleming was non-existent. And you'll think if he's trying to get a move to the Premier League and you're playing against a Premier League team, you would probably try and play a bit better. But and then we had changes on the 72nd minute. We had Leonard coming on for Denor. Yeah, Leonard playing in the middle. He's back in the middle now. Emaku coming on for Watmore. Langstaff coming on for Bradshaw. And then later on we had Nisbet coming off for Esse on the 81st minute. Massey coming off for Saville in the 81st minute. Harding coming off for Bryan in the 86th minute. And that's all the changes. What can we say? Totally and utterly outclassed in the first half. That was a Premier League team, and the difference in class was palpable. It was so obvious. We just couldn't do anything. I mean, we've got Premier League team and we've got Bradshaw playing up front, and It's that's not going to cut it. Yeah, it's not really much going on in the first half. Except SA, although kind of tackling from behind Elliot Anderson. He didn't attack his knees. I don't know what happened there. But Elliot Anderson obviously moved from Newcastle to Nottingham Forest for £35 million. A player that we were linked with, trying to get in on loan 2 seasons ago, I believe. Yeah, he kind of injured his knee, but he did walk off, so I think maybe it's just a bruise or something. I'm sure it's not that bad. But in the second half, obviously a bit better, except for Wallace. Well, I think he gave the ball away. He wasn't in position. That led to their goal, and that for the love of God, I don't know why he's putting Wallace on in the middle as a centre back. Maybe he's thinking about using him as a centre back instead of a left back, because obviously we've got Brian now. We got Malachi. Malachi was there, I believe. So maybe he's trying to use Wallace in the middle. Maybe he's trying to prove to these players that they're not very good anymore. And maybe they might want to think about moving on. I don't know. Very weird to just start with Bradshaw and leaving him on for 72 minutes. But maybe Neil Harris is trying to show someone like these players aren't what they were, and maybe we need to replace them. But yeah, although with their goal, very interesting about their goal that they kind of floated the ball over the defenders, and their player run in behind, and he was like 8 yards out, and you'd think, well, he's gonna like head it towards goal or take a shot. No, he headed it backwards. He turned around with his back to goal and headed it back to Chris Woods, and Chris Woods had a shot on goal which was deflected up and over into the top right corner. And I've never seen such unselfishness before. That a player 8 yards out who went on a counter-attacking run to get in behind the defence would just, oh yeah, here you go, I'll pass it to you and you can score. Insane. But yeah, Nottingham Forest were absolutely outstanding in that first half. Obviously, they changed their entire team in the second half. And in the second half, it was probably, I don't really know any of these players. I think it was more like a championship team in the second half, and we did kind of play a bit better. You could see that the smoothness and the quickness and the pace and the strength was kind of lacking now from Nottingham Forest, and we were able to get into it a bit more. And the goal from Amaku was very good. Obviously, Watmore, I don't think he actually touched the ball. I think he went to touch it, and the defender kind of slid in and got into it, and Watmore hit the crossbar, the top of the crossbar. Imaku's goal, Joe Bryan doing what he does. He's not that good at defending, really, but he's doing these pinging these balls forward, and did a really good, it must have been 50-yard ball into space behind people. That's what you want. You want to pass it behind into space, and then the players can run onto it, which I think, to be honest, when we've got Fleming on, because he's so slow, that's not really what we're trying to do. But when you've got a Maku on, he's obviously one of the only players with pace. That's what we do, and it works. A weird thing to see then when Maku comes through. Obviously, he touches the ball. There's no one to pass to, so obviously he had go have a shot. He takes one touch and has a shot. After he scored, barely, no celebration at all, nothing, no smile. Didn't celebrate with any of the other players. So George Honeyman kind of jogged over to him gingerly to celebrate with him, and Imaku didn't even acknowledge him and walk past him. And you've got to think there's something going on there. When you consider that literally every other week he's been linked to this club and that club, and being linked with a move away from Millwall, I think he probably doesn't like being at Millwall. But you would imagine that when you score, that you would probably celebrate that, or just do a fist bump or smile or something. And he didn't celebrate, and the players didn't celebrate with him. Very odd behaviour. So, damn, that's odd. Again, Massey coming on. I think he's 18 years old. Doesn't look it. Looks pretty decent quality. And Romain Esse, obviously doing flicks and tricks and stuff like that. Obviously because it's pre-season friendly. But on that run that he made through when he went through, beat two players and then set it through in front of Duncan Watmore again, passing it into space. That was very good stuff. So yeah, good to see the Millwall fans there. We were massively outnumbered Nottingham Forrest. I think they had about 50 to 100. Well, I thought we had like 700, but it's saying here 900. Yeah, it was good to see. So there you go. Now moving on to this from the southernnews.co.uk. Post-match comments from Neil Harris. So Neil Harris successes, Lions displaying feisty defeat to Nottingham Forest. We want to be competitive. We've got 700 Millwall fans here. Neil Harris left Nottingham Forest Premier League quality and extra few days in the Mercia sun. Let me read that again because I missed a word. Neil Harris felt Nottingham Forest Premier League quality and an extra few days in the Mercia sun made the difference after Millwall's 2-1 defeat at the Pinatar Arena on Tuesday evening. I would say it's probably the millions and millions of pounds worth of talent that they have when we've got players that are linked with League One Wrexham. Forrest took the lead in hot conditions in the 17th minute when Chris Wood's shot looped up from Joe Bryan's attempted block and over goalkeeper Lucas Jensen. First half substitute Callum Hudson-Odoi made it 2-0 8 minutes. Well, we know all this. I'm not going to waste my time repeating that. Let's go. Where are we going? There were water breaks in each half, though the temperature cooled after the break. There were around 700 Millwall supporters at the game and they showed their appreciation for their side's efforts after the final whistle. I thought the application and attitude of the players was tremendous, Harris told Newsden. Some of our defensive work was really good and some of our football at times was excellent to break the lines and get through them. We just missed that last bar around the box until the goal. I thought in the first 15 minutes we were the better team, but then Forrest stepped up a gear and they showed they'd been here a week and we've been here 48 hours. And I think it showed after the 20-minute mark, certainly after the drinks break. They just showed their Premier League quality and the speed of their play. The quality of their touch was exceptional and we had to dig in and hang in there. I was disappointed with the manner of the goals. Certainly the second goal was disappointing, an individual error, which is expected at some moments in pre-season. But then we finished the game really strongly, and the biggest thing is it looked like the players have come through unscathed, which is the priority. Well, our players did, not theirs. There were some feisty tackles in the game as both sides didn't hold back. One challenge from George Saville sparked words with Nuno Espirito Santo, though the Forest boss told the Lions midfield he was just trying to impart instructions to one of his players. Harris wasn't surprised the game was often fiercely contested. Old Forrest and Nuno know what to expect from my Millwall team, and they came ready for the battle, Harris said. They picked a very strong side, no disrespect to the rest of the squad, with a physical presence and size, and they made it difficult for us. We want to be competitive. We got 700 Millwall fans here, and it's an opportunity for us to set our stall out for the season. And we want to be a good football side, but we have to have the Millwall traits as well. And that's made us a powerhouse, a successful football club outside the Premier League for such a long time. Indeed. I'm not sure where he gets we were the best team in the first 15 minutes. But I think we had most of the ball, but we didn't really do anything with it. Okay, now moving on to this from millfc.co.uk. There is another game in Spain, and they're now just telling us about the details around that game, because obviously it came out over social media yesterday that the tickets were going off sale 24 hours before the game. There were not supposed to be any ticket sales on the day of the game. So now they're telling us again, obviously, Ahead of Mill's pre-season friendlies against Nottingham Forrest and Real Mercia at the Pinata Arena, so obviously this was put up this morning, please read the following supporter information. Tickets will not Tickets will not be available to purchase at the ground on match days. Tickets for our match against Nottingham Forest are off sale. And supporters have until Thursday morning, 9:30 AM local time, to purchase tickets for our game against Real Mercia. The arena will open 90 minutes ahead of kick-off, meaning fans can arrive from 6:30 PM for the Tuesday's match against Nottingham Forest and 9 AM for Friday's morning's game against Real Mercia. That's local time. Supporters are advised to have their ticket QR code ready on arrival to avoid queues. Security checks will be carried out ahead of entry to the stadium, so fans are encouraged to arrive early. Small bags and personal items will be allowed into the venue. Bottle tops will be removed from drinks, while sun cream should be stored in soft bottles. Hard bottles will not be permitted, as well as sharp objects. Smoking and alcohol will not be permitted inside the stadium. So there you go. Would have been nice to have this before the game, but this was this morning. But I mean, before the tickets for Forest went off sale. I mean, maybe they didn't know that because maybe the details were in Spanish and they didn't realise that, and they didn't realise that they had to tell Millwall fans about that. So there you go. So let's move on to this from southernnews.co.uk. From Cairo Evans back in London. Neil Harris reveals the aims for Mill's week in Spain as Lions welcome a familiar face back into training. Bartosz Białkowski saw his old teammates at a training camp. Did he get his old gloves back on? Was he getting stuck in? So Neil Harris believes Mill's time in Spain has the potential to be a really good footballing week, as he emphasised fitness and bonding. The Lions arrived at Alicante training camp on Sunday and will face Spanish side Real Mercia on Friday and Nottingham Forest later today. Away from the games, Harris is keen for his players to take plenty from their week on the continent. Speaking in a virtual press conference yesterday afternoon alongside midfielder George Honeyman, he said, first and foremost, the lads turned up at the airport on time. Everything went smoothly with the plane and the hotel, and we've had 2 training sessions already in the first 24 hours and acclimatised to the heat as quickly as we can. So we brought training forward as it's extremely warm out here, and it really was just a continuation of the work being done at Cowman. The bonding will come naturally because of the amount of time players and staff spend together. Even me and G sitting here together is good for us to get to know each other a bit better, rather than going home and spending time with friends or family, or taking kids off to the park or going out to dinner. They're doing it with each other continuously, so that naturally takes care of itself. It's not just about the players integrating it and sharing rooms and continuing their friendship. Like, staff can mingle with the players, and that's really important. I mean, you go through tough spells during the season, and it's crucial to have that camaraderie and that understanding of how each other feels. There's highs and lows during the season for a player, and if you deal with it on a humility level and with mutual respect, it doesn't half help the change room, and that can be a difference between a successful season and not a successful season. On the plans for fitness, Harris added, the plan for the week training-wise is to get extended minutes for the majority of the senior players and integrate Sean Hutchinson into training as the week progresses. We're playing 2 really good opponents against teams that are going to want to dominate the football, so it's got the hallmarks to be a really good footballing week for us. The biggest aim of all is to completely stay free from injury. Former Millwall goalkeeper Bartosz Białkowski, who left the Den in May, was back at the training ground yesterday to see his friends. The Polish keeper, 37, made 169 appearances for the club and was pictured hugging some of his old teammates. Harris said, he popped in today. He messaged me last night to ask what time training was, so he's popped in today and seen the lads, and he's in the hotel at the moment still. He's been enjoying his time off, and he's in a really good place, and he's had a really brilliant career. And Honeyman joked, "We can't get rid of him." So there you go. That is what it's like out there. Now, moving on to this. Talking about more summer activity, transfer window activity. So this is from the londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. Goals, flair and creativity are a priority for Mill boss Harris as he discusses summer transfer window. Millwall head coach Neil Harris is still looking to add to his frontline options despite the recent capture of Notts County goal machine Macaulay Langstaff. The Lions have 3 out-and-out strikers with Kevin Nisbet and Tom Bradshaw also on their books, and Millwall have made 3 additions this summer. Japhet Tanganga has put pen to paper after his contract at Tottenham expired, with goalkeeper Lucas Jensen arriving for a fee thought to be in the region of £500,000 from Lincoln City. Club captain Sean Hutchinson has also resigned. 3 of the 4 deals done have been defensive ones, and Harris, speaking on Zoom yesterday from the club's Alicante training camp, was asked if the focus now was on completing transfers higher up the pitch. We've been fortunate to bring in Japhet and re-engage with Hutch, said the Lions boss. On deals, we feel we are pretty much there as a defensive unit, where we might look at the middle of the park across that midfield area as an area where we still need to add personnel, possibly. But then we look at the top end of the pitch in particular, and that's certainly where we need to add a little bit of flair, creativity and goals, certainly. And there might be a little bit of balance to what we have got in the building. As always, I'm very open-minded. It is a transfer window and we still got 5 and a bit weeks to go, but you're always going to get 1 or 2 wobbles from the changing room as well. And we have to be open-minded that if we lose anyone last minute, we've always got to be in a position with the squad that we can deal with that scenario. So that's interesting. So we're still expecting anyone lose last minute. Now, is that Idomi Omaku after his lack of celebration today? Don't know. Obviously, talk of Wes Harding leaving. Obviously, he's not going to be getting any game time. Is he happy to sit on the bench? Now Hutch has come in, so you got Murray Wallace, which is another, like, why was Murray Wallace put in the centre back position to see if he could do it against a team that's made up of half Premier League players and half Nottingham Forest youth team players, and he didn't really do that well, except for at the end when he got moved to left back when Joe Bryan went off and Harding came on, and he came forward and had that cut in and had that shot on his right foot. Yeah, so, but you would imagine, like, Murray Wallace, you wouldn't think he's going to be one to spit the dummy out about wanting to play. I mean, he's not really played that much last season, and he did get injured, so I don't know, maybe, but we wait and see. Maybe he's talking about Zion Fleming if he's going to go last minute. But now this was obviously he has mentioned this previously, which is why in the video about the Korean player who now looks set to be maybe going to Hull City, that we are trying to get someone with a bit of flair, and he is a very good winger. So we wait and see. But it looks like if there is going to be someone coming in, it's going to be the kind of a attacking player. But it may be we were linked with a guy from Luton. Is it McAtee? John McAtee? So maybe it might be him, but I don't know. So yeah, talking about Idomi Omaku, we got this. We have Neil Harris talking about that. This is again from the londonnewsonline.co.uk. Millwall boss reacts to PSV Eindhoven transfer link for young attacker Idomi Omaku. Millwall head coach Neil Harris has responded to recent transfer links surrounding Idomi Omaku. The Irish Mirror recently claimed that PSV Eindhoven had made an inquiry for the 20-year-old attacker. Omaku was signed by the Lions in January 2023 and has made 22 championship appearances, scoring once. The youngster hit the crossbar in the pre-season friendly 0-0 draw at Gillingham and netted in the behind closed doors victory over Charlton earlier this month. Omaku has been capped by the Republic of Ireland at under 21 level. As a football club, we've had no contact from anybody or inquiring about Idomi Omaku, said Harris, speaking yesterday from Millwall's training camp. So there you go, done and dusted. No one's. So why is this a story? What's going on? How is this being? You would imagine. So it's in the Irish press, in the Irish Mirror. So someone in Ireland is saying this, is telling this to a journalist in Ireland, and they're publishing it. Because this was a story. It wasn't like it was like a little line or so. It was like a whole story made out of it. Again, very weird that Idomi Omaku wasn't celebrating his goal and basically ignored George Honeyman, who came over to celebrate with him. Very, very, very weird. Now, we obviously mentioned earlier that George Honeyman was in that press conference with Neil Harris, the virtual press conference, which was watched by Cairo Evans back in London, while John Kelly is in Spain. So here we go. This is from the southernnews.co.uk. George Honeyman commends Millwall youngsters for pushing senior players and had special praise for one impressive teenage midfielder. Honeyman is preparing for this evening's game against Nottingham Forrest in Spain. George Honeyman praised Millwall's youngsters for pushing the senior lads amid the Lions' intense pre-season schedule. The Millwall midfielder is likely to be among the players involved in this evening's clash against Nottingham Forest at the Pinatar Arena. He came on for the second half. The squad flew out to Spain on Sunday as part of their week of warm weather training, with a few young players among the travelling party. Plenty of youngsters have been involved throughout pre-season so far, and Honeyman likes the effect they are having on the group. Speaking in the virtual press conference of Spain alongside his boss Neil Harris, the 29-year-old said, I've been really impressed with the young lads. My view, looking at young players, you've got to be pushing the senior lads all the time. And I feel that with the young lads here, and that's what you want as a senior player, you don't want young lads to come up and be timid and not pushing you, because then they're never going to have your shirt. It's been really good. I mean, I've challenged the lads, and they're really good characters, which helps immensely, and I've been really pleased with their work ethic. Honeyman had special praise for up-and-coming midfielder Alfie Massey, 18, who was described as excellent by Harris for his performance against Gillingham. Honeyman said, I've had the pleasure of playing with Alfie in the middle of the park in a couple of games, and I've really loved his temperament. He's had a real quality on the ball. It's been over a month since the tragic passing of goalkeeper Matija Sarkics, and his death is still being felt by his teammates. Honeyman said a video analysis session which featured the keeper playing from last season brought some of the feelings flooding back. He said, getting over it or getting through it is always going to be a tough. I don't think the lads will ever probably get over it. I mean, it's a weird one in football because people come and go every off-season, so I think they were kind of still, in a weird sense, waiting for him to walk through the door and give the lads a big hug and ask us how our off-season has been and all the normal sort of crack. It's funny, the gaffer put a clip on, and we did a bit of video analysis from last year, and we did stuff on playing out from the back, and there he was on the video, and it's a bit surreal again. There's going to be dips, and that's where the camaraderie and the togetherness gets us through it. And we all miss him madly, and we want to treasure the memory of him and do him justice, and we'll never forget him. We're looking forward to celebrating him with the fans on the first game back at the Den. But it's a work in progress, and unfortunately I don't think many of us had many experiences of this sort, and that's where we need each other. It's tough. I'm not going to lie. The lads are up and down with it, but we're a pretty tight-knit group, so we can take comfort in that we've got each other. So there you go, George Honeyman speaking from the virtual press conference in Alicante. Now, talking of this, which we did briefly mention before. So, the Sean Hutchinson situation, what went on? Well, we're about to find out. This is from londonnewsonline.co.uk, the South London Press's online website. Crazy rules led to Millwall approach over negotiations over a new deal for long-serving defender. Millwall head coach Neil Harris says there has been a constant contact with Sean Hutchinson over the summer before his return to the playing ranks was confirmed. The Lions announced a list of players that had not been retained at the end of May, and the long-serving centre-back's name was on it. But Harris always wanted to keep Hutchinson, who he signed on a free transfer when he left Fulham in June 2016. The Geordie has made 257 appearances for Millwall. Actually, officially, because we were forced by the EFL and the crazy rules we have to do for the retained and released list, and that has to be done by a certain day in May, said Harris, talking yesterday from the Lions training camp in Alicante. It gives clarity to a lot of people, but then there are certain situations when talks are continuous and ongoing all summer that makes it a very difficult situation. And you can't really give grey areas. The football club, with Hutch's advisor and me and Sean in particular, decided that we went down the steps together, releasing Sean and going a little bit radio silence on it. There was nothing on social media from the club or from Sean, because we always thought we might end up back in this position again. The communication line has been there all summer. I like it. Have been done slightly earlier to get actually in the building a little bit earlier, but also I understand these things take time, and there are a lot of factors to go into the deals, like we have done with Sean. Ultimately, it's all irrelevant. I mean, he's back, and he is a continuation from last year within the changing room in the group, and he comes back as club captain. So there you go. If you're wondering what happened, that was it. So they released him, but he was never really gone. They were just talking to him about a new contract. So there you go. Now, there was another game today. Obviously, it's only an under-21 game, so the match report for that can wait. But I'm not going to make you wait. I'm going to tell you what happened, and I'm not going to tell you. I'm going to show you, because in a visual medium, it's better to show, not tell. Okay, so here we are. This is a Facebook group. Yes, I have scoured the internet to find the most information I can to impart it to you, dear viewer or listener. And here we go. So this is the Cray Massive Facebook group on Facebook. It's about Cray Wanderers. So we've got a guy here, Mark Hunt, who is giving us a live update with pictures from the game at their new Flamingo Park ground, where Cray Wanderers hosted a Millwall 11, again with, will you believe it, Trialist J. Yes, I have. I'm going to tell you the team because he doesn't give you the team. So, in goal for Millwall, we have Trialist A, then Ollie Evans, then Trialist B, Trialist C, Chinocoli as captain, Trialist D, Trialist E, Trialist F, Hearn, Trialist G, Bangora Williams, and on the subs bench we have Trialist H, Trialist I, Baker, and Trialist J. So only 4 subs. They couldn't find the Trialist K, and some of the players who played in the last game, they are missing. So I don't know what's going on there, but there you go. Up to Trialist J. Can you believe it? So here we go. 10 minutes in. Still Cray nil, Millwall nil. A lively start with both teams, with a number of trialists show. Yes, indeed. A trialist number 9 fired into the side netting for Millwall, and at the other end, Latif Adija curled a shot over the top. Right? And then we've got that. But this isn't a goal. This guy's just said decent little passage of play. And this is from Cray. They're in, when do you call that? Gold and blue. Like nothing happened. And then we have this, again from Mark Hunt. So 30 minutes in, still Cray nil, Millwall nil. Lively with Millwall close for Henry Hearn, who followed up a block shot by firing over. Then at the other end, the trialist number 17 for Cray saw a low shot well held. And here we go. It's all gone crazy because after 40 minutes we got an update from Mark Hunt saying Cray 1, Millwall 1. 2 fine finishes have lit up the game with Cray in front when Nair and Clunis exchanged passes from a left wing corner to score from the edge of the area at the left post. Millwall though levelled when Rahis Bangora Williams found space to crack home from just outside the box. So there you go, a bit of a screamer apparently, but there you go. This is half time. We finished. We ended 1-1 at half time, and then we go into the second half. That's talking about when Tony Cascarino played against Cray many years ago. That's a link to Millwall, because I don't think that they have any Millwall players that played for them, which is kind of weird. But hey ho. So here we go. On the 52nd minute, we got a goal for Cray Wanderers, making it 2-1. Cray back in front with a goal that was well crafted when Alex Teniola setting up Latif Adija for a shot from 20 yards high into the net. There you go. Now here we go. 62nd minute, goal. Cray Wanderers 2, Millwall 2. Millwall level once again for a trialist, number 4, who was found with a fine ball from the number 14 to cut inside from the right and place a shot into the bottom left corner. Bing bang bong. And would you believe it? Here we go on the 78th minute. Cray Wanderers 2, Millwall 3. Millwall in front as a few subs start to appear, and the number 6 trialist down the right cut into the box and clipped a shot into the net. So there you go. I don't know if that's him there, the number 6 there was on the ball. If he's run all the way there, if he's run all the way down the pitch from there and scored, I mean, sign him up right now. let's none of this trial stuff. Give him a contract right now. There's a memoriam there, and then we've got, I think it's just like a 701 crowd, which is not bad. So similar numbers in Spain and in Eltham for the Cray Wanderers game. So there you go. That is it. The Cray Massive. Now moving on to this. Millwall recruiting first team club doctor. So this is a bit of a shocker. Millwall Football Club is hiring a first team club doctor. The role will require you to support the head of medical services in the assessment, diagnosis and treatment for all first team squad players and assist in the medical screening, player health education and provision of education to the sports medicine and performance team. For the full job descriptions, please see below. So here we go. So first team club doctor. Now you may know the first team club doctor at the moment. You might see him because he runs onto the pitch when he actually runs onto the pitch. He's with the physio. He's kind of like a stout, roundly Asian gentleman who's, I think his name is Nazim Ali. So he seems to be leaving for some reason. And we have, shall we have a look and see? So there you go. That's not bad. 60k a year for a part-time job. This role includes all of that stuff there. Telephone, so the players can call you up for telephone consultations. To participate in club's CPD and ensure emergency protocols and practices maintained. Oh, hang on, what's that? Deliver presentations and advice on medical matters relevant to sports medicine, including whereabouts. So that's when they get drug tested, they need to tell. You need to literally keep up with where they're basically spied on 24/7 professional athletes because they have to give their whereabouts in terms of drug testing. They are you see that if you remember Rio Ferdinand, that situation. STIs, diet, travel and skincare. To undertake annual medical testing for the first team players, including routine medical checks, blood tests and scat tests. Scat test, is that what I think it is? Scat, like caca, poo poo. They have to test their poo poo. That's weird. You need to be fully registered doctor licensed to practice by the GMC. You have to have advanced emergency aid qualification, FA level 5, ATM or equivalent. Surely if you're a fully registered doctor, why would you then need to go to the FA and get a certificate? This is kind of weird. Again, in the modern age, I want job. Can I get job? I have experience and I have training. Do you have the piece of paper? Oh, no, sorry, you can't get the job. You need to get the piece of paper. It's all very bizarre. It's 20 hours a week, apparently. Really? There's a lot of stuff listed above for 20 hours a week. Damn, bro. Crazy, but there you go. So, we're looking for a new club doctor, if anyone's interested. And here we go. We're going to finish on this. This is a weird one. Millwall Mainstay Pub China Hall to be restored after flat conversion altered. Yeah, what's gone on here then? This is from the summitnews.co.uk. So the 300-year-old Rotherhithe boozer was happy to welcome fans wearing colours on match days. So there you go. That's what they've done there. It looks like they put another thing on the roof, added another level on the roof. A mainstay Millwall pub will be restored despite developers' attempt to turn it into flats. Rotherhithe's China Hall buzzed on match days but faced disaster after new owners took over. The developer, Amna Wakaf, removed the bar, cut beer lines and subdivided the ground floor into 2 apartments. But following a planning inspector's decision on July the 19th, the developer must now reinstate the 300-year-old pub. Local campaigners who fought hard against the conversion have celebrated the decision. Michael Robertson, who gave evidence at the planning inquiry, said on match days you couldn't get in it. It was one in, one out because it was so popular. In the Surrey Stocks Weatherspoons down the road, you couldn't go in wearing a Millwall shirt, but the China Hall fully embraced club colours. Grandparents and grandkids was going together, and it worked like a dream. In a joint statement, he and fellow local campaigner Steve Cornish said they look forward to the 300-year-old pub being enjoyed for generations to come. Hamna Wakaf had planning permission to extend the pub floor space, but overstepped the mark. When a case officer visited the site, they said the owners had started an unauthorised stripping of the pub's interior. The officer issued a notice ordering the owners to restore the pub. Hamna Wakaf hit back by appealing the decision, arguing the pub was not a viable business venture for prospective landlords. But the pub's history as a mainstay for the local community, loved by the local sports club, proved the key to the inspector's decision to back the boozer. So they got planning permission. They were supposed to build flats above the pub, but keep the pub going as a pub. And then they decided, well, yeah, no, fuck that. We're just going to rip out the pub and turn the ground floor into flats, which they didn't get permission for. But they figured, well, hey, you know what? Let's just do it. And then, like, no one's going to fucking notice. So, like, are these people, like, thick as shit? Like, what? Who are these people? They don't get how it works in this country, that you just can't do these things and get away with it. It's absolutely bizarre that we still have these people doing this shit. The inspector's report said the pub welcomed Millwall fans on match days, being full to capacity and employing its own security. It had a close association with the Sarkics branch of the Intercutch Rugby League, which played their games in the park opposite, and described the China Hall as their local pub from 2004 until its closure. It catered for players of the Southern Park Cricket Club and the Southern Park Bowls Club and a local darts team. The variety of activities reported demonstrates the pub served a broad spectrum of local residents. In a joint statement, local campaigners Michael Robinson and Steve Cornish said, we'd like to thank the council officers and their legal representatives for their outstanding entities, due diligence and tenacious amplification of the China Hall's cultural significance to Rotherhithe and Bermondsey, a legacy of which can now hopefully be enjoyed as a public realm for generations to come. The pub was formerly run by the much-loved Norris family, with Michael Norris at the helm. He sadly passed away in June 2023. Councillor Helen Dennis, Cabinet Member for New Homes and Sustainable Development, said, this is a huge win for our plan and enforcement team and local residents who work together to save the China Hall as a functioning pub. Pubs are specifically protected by planning policy and for good reason, and I'm thrilled that such an important piece of Rotherhithe's history and community has been protected. It serves as a warning that it is never acceptable for works to go ahead before a planning application has been approved. Indeed, and they absolutely hate it. When you go to the government, the council, and get permission to do one thing, and you then do something else that isn't in what they've given you permission for, like, you can forget about it. Like, you're toast, you're done. And like, it's hard enough. We've seen with Millwall what we've had to do to get the stuff around the den and to get the training ground just permission for that. It's been insane because of how much NIMBYism is, and the councillors needing to get voted and not being held to account for that. They strongly side with the NIMBYs, and they don't let. If you're going to change something, you need to have support of the community to change it, and you can't just do snide things like this where you apply for one planning permission and then just start building something else. But what's going to happen now? Like, they've already ripped all the bar out, so what's going to happen? We'll see, but there you go. And on that note, thank you for watching, and goodbye.